Hello, this is True Life, and this channel is Ancestral Alchemy. So, here we talk about a lot of different things. We're going to get into a lot of different subject matters because the healing of our community does not just only begin and end with herbs and supplements or medicine of some kind or meditation. It's also our psyche, our psychological environment, and everything that entails that. So I want to make sure that all of us are aware that healing is so multifaceted. And one of the things that I look at in our community is the fact that we have a lot of dualities happening, a lot of fights, the push and pull, the tug of war between morality, values, education, relationships, and things of that nature. And one of the major things that I see with the dichotomy between men and women is that there are so many different aspects to the demise of the relationship in the household or the relationship between man and woman nowadays that we can get lost in translation because you have ideologies which are not truths. Okay, it's simple impressive language, and it's often not sincere. Just go ahead and look it up. You know what I'm saying? Ideologies are not necessarily truths. They're not truths. They're just a fancy way of saying something clever for the sake of argument. And most of us have ideologies. And this has been developing over the last like 20 some odd years. I've noticed myself. Um, so I'm a fan of looking at things a little bit deeper. I'm a fan of making sure that we're clear on what it is we're fighting because you can't hit a target that you can't see. So, we're gonna have our ups and our downs. We're gonna have our moments where we just don't have clarity, right? So we want to touch base on a few things. So I'm going to read the definition of rhetoric and the definition of ideology to you guys, okay? So here goes. Ideology, the science of ideas, especially of an unrealistic nature. A lot of you have unrealistic ideologies about relationships, values, morals, and so forth. Rhetoric, language having an impressive effect on its audience but lacks sincerity or meaningful content. A lot of people push rhetoric. And social media has taken social media has taken ideology and rhetoric and it's snowballed into a collective idiocracy, right? Or idiocy, right? So everybody is taking ideology and rhetoric and using it as truth, fact, or validation for things that they may feel or things that they think they saw or whatever the case may be. And it's very ugly right now, right? And I'll be the first one to tell you, in the Internet of Things, these ideologies are very small minded compared to what the vast majority of the world is doing. So, yes, we have numbers, we have statistics, we have things of that nature, and we want to go by those numbers, but we also have our environments and our surroundings. And depending on where you're from or, where you're at financially in your life or in your journey, you're going to see a validation of every single thing that you feel, every single thing that you think and feel. And I say that to say your algorithms in life literally spill over into your social media and vice versa. So if you're constantly feeding yourself with negative ideologies, negative rhetoric, and you're internalizing these things as if they're you, as if you don't have a mind of your own, it spills over into your real life and you cause a vortex of a chain of events that are consistent with that same ideology or that same algorithm, so to speak. Okay? Here's one that I really wanted to talk about today, and it is fatherless children. Most of society's ills, especially in the black community, right? But I'm talking about all fatherless children. When we talk about what's happening in society, school to prison pipeline, when we discuss how many children are going to be in prison because they lack a two-family household and so forth and so on. When we spill this rhetoric and we use disingenuous data to determine whether or not we should be vilifying or villainizing women at large, right? We What we do is we negate the reality of what's happening with our children. We negate the reality of what's happening in those relationships. We're negating that, and we're not shining lights on what the true problem is. There is no such thing as a single mother. There is a such thing as single parents. And this is what I need for you guys to understand so you can heal from this nonsense that's been embedded into your brains. Yes, I have children, but I did not create them alone. They have a father. That father, whether he is there or not there, is also a single parent. He may be bad at it, but he is also a single parent. This goes vice versa. There are men who take care of the children without the mother. He is a single parent. She is also a single parent, because you do not stop being a father just because you're not in the relationship anymore. I need you to understand that. Get that through your heads. There is no such thing as a single mother. It is single parents. Unless a woman is widowed and her husband has died, or that child's father has passed away, the other parent is still a single parent and they are still alive. Single mother, single father only exists if the other parent has died. Okay? The minute you change the way that we speak of one another, that's when we can begin to heal. But you're not going to be able to heal from this nonsense that we see. You have to see that this is sick, right? You have to notice this. And sure, be angry. Get tight. Okay? Get sassy. Get snazzy. Do whatever it is that you want to do. Okay? Get jaded. No, I don't want to talk to the men. Okay? Be sassy. Oh, no, I ain't talking to no women because of whatever reason. But if we stop using the language that was used to oppress us in the first place, we would not be in the situation that we're in now. Our words are spells, and we speak these things into existence. You will not continue to call me a single mother. I mean, yes, I use the terminology for the sake of argument. I do it too. I was bit by the bug as well. But then the reality hit, we're not going to heal that way. We're simply not. Stop using the terminology that helps to keep us oppressed. Period. It is not changing what the truth is. It's simply calling it a spade a spade. If I have a child and I am raising that child by myself, I am a single parent, right? Right? If I have a child and I'm raising that child with another parent, I am still a single parent because I am not married. Do you understand? Did you know that you could be in a relationship with somebody for 5 and 6 years, and on your paperwork, if you don't have a ring or a document, guess what you putting on your paperwork? Single. Do you understand that? So because of that, you have to understand that both men and women, whether they are absent or present, not dead, absent or present, are single parents. You men are toting single mothers like it's some type of cape or something that you get to put on and take off when you make women who are single parents. You're also that a single parent, sir. You're also the parent to that child, sir. You're just bad at it. You're just not there in the household, but you're still a single parent, sir. So this changes the ideologies that surround the single mother narrative. Okay? Because it's a fake narrative. It's not something that we should be using. It's not something that we should be calling our women. It's not something that you should be calling your mothers or you should be calling your baby mamas. No. Y'all are single parents. Parents. And the minute that you say, I'm a single parent, you take away that male-female bull crap. There's no more single father, single mother. No, if we're single parents, then that means that we both have the responsibility. We both have the accountability. We both chose. Okay? Not she chose wrong. We both chose. It's high time that both men and women stop with the you should have chose better nonsense. And just realize that there's another side to that story. The person that chose you knew they weren't shit when they laid with you. The person that, whether it's the male or the female, the person that laid with you knew what their intentions were. They knew what they were going to do after the fact. You fell for it. Sorry that you were gullible. Some of you plainly and enough promiscuous. And that's not just a female thing. A lot of men lack self-control also. But here's the thing. The children suffer with or without that ideology. Do you know that? The children suffer with or without that ideology. Who are you saving? Who are you protecting? I'll give you a prime example. And I'm not a Christian. I'm very, very spiritual. I follow the laws of my aunt. Okay? But I'm not Christian. But it doesn't mean I was raised Christian. So I'm going to take you to scripture. Just so that we can go and meet you where you might be. Right? And we're talking about God's concern. God of the Bible, we're talking about God's concern of fatherless children. Because all of you like to say, I want a Christian woman with Christian values. And I want a woman to be pure and so forth and so on. Old school and blah, 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 right? But what does that Christian woman look for in a man? Well, here's what God looks for in a man. God as a father to the fatherless. Psalm 68:5 states, a father to the fatherless, a defender of widows, is God in his holy habitation. Okay, this verse highlights God's role as a caregiver and protector for those without a father. This was exclusive back then. Do you understand that? And it's not just about widows losing their husbands. This is about children losing fathers, whether by death, destruction, or the like. But God at that time knew that children would be without fathers. Let that sink in. God knew that children would be out of fathers and put clauses in the Bible for the people that were capable to be able to stand up for those fatherless children. The call to action, Deuteronomy 10:18 says, he defends the cause of the fatherless and the widow and loves the foreigner residing among you. Say that again. And loves the foreigner residing among you, giving them food and clothing. This verse demonstrates the responsibility of believers to care for the physical needs of the fatherless. And with that, I land my plane. Now there you can find discrepancies. I know a lot of you will, but none of what I'm saying is up for debate. This is about healing, ma'am and sir. This is about healing. Get rid of those terminologies. Start adopting a language that's more healing to the relationship between man, woman, and child. We're not here to play semantics. We're not here to give in to those tones that cause us division. Our children are suffering. Period. We have to populate the planet. Okay? We got to populate the planet. But the kids are suffering because those of us that are populating obviously are choosing wrong. And those who are aiding and abetting in that choosing are just not doing right. So what do we do? These children can't be left behind. And your high values and so much morals. At the end of the day, these kids need sports, exercise, education, love, nurturing. They need skill sets. There's a lot of work to be done, and bickering back and forth is not going to do it. Your child is my child. My child is your child. Period. Now you can do with that what you must. If this doesn't apply to you, so be it. You live on an island where your children will never interact with mine. And that's okay. Scroll to the next video. But if you understand where I'm coming from and you resonate with any of this information, like, comment, share, subscribe. Because there's more where that came from. I won't beat you in your head today. But if anything that I said resonated with you today, especially about us being parents simultaneously, just please internalize that and just meditate on it. Until next time, peace and love.